Sujata, I understand that you went through a series of treatments for your multiple myeloma, which is a type of blood cancer, including a stem cell transplant. At what point did you and your doctor consider a clinical trial might be best for you?
Yes, you're right. I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in December. And so the line of treatment or the standard protocol is that you go through like what is called an induction therapy, which is like a few cycles of chemotherapy, which get you ready for a transplant. And the transplant, the hope is that it kind of washes away or cleans off all the cancer cells for you, or at least brings the cancer to a very, very minimal level. And I did go through 6 rounds of chemo, which got me ready for the transplant. And I went through the transplant in June of 2020. However, I'm amongst the very few, a small percentage of people that just did not respond to the transplant. So I was at the same point as where I started. So it was a little bit disappointing, but my doctors, were there to help me understand the situation. It was a hard pill to swallow, but anyways, there were options. And that's what I feel very hopeful about with multiple myeloma, is that there are so many options available today, to treat or to at least bring the disease under control to a very large extent. And I'd expressed a desire to be in a trial very earlier on. So my doctor did know that I would be that I would lend in a year to listening to what the trials were. And it just so happened that there was a trial that was very apt in my situation, like somebody who'd gone through a transplant and, who was, they have some criteria, and I was able to meet that criteria. And so for me, it seemed to be like the right decision to make. And so that's how I agreed to be part of the trial.
Mm-hmm. Can you go into some detail about why you thought a clinical trial was a best thing for you?
Yeah, so initially, before knowing much about this trial that I am in part of, I just had the desire to be part of a trial, because I was always in awe of patients who had been in trials before me, and because of whom I was benefiting with like whatever regimens, medications, combos, whatever were happening. And so from that perspective, I always wanted to give back in some way. Unfortunately, we are having more people being diagnosed with cancers, with multiple myeloma. And so I was very motivated to do something for the community that I was now part of. And so I had my transplant at Mayo, and I knew that they had a whole bunch of trials, and I had access to different types of trials. And so I thought, so that was my first motivation. And it just so happened that, as I said, my experience with transplant didn't go the desired way. And so, when I heard that there was a possibility that I could be part of a trial, I kind of leaned into actually agreeing to be part of that.
Yeah, it sounds like that was the next step for you.
Yep.